Suddenly, an unknown virus swept across the globe, turning billions of people into savage, bloodthirsty zombies, devoid of any intelligence. At the center of the story are Jack, his friend Patrick, and a woman named Emma with her young daughter, Lou. During an evacuation, their bus is attacked by the infected, who kill the soldiers escorting them. Panic ensues. Jack manages to grab a weapon from a fallen soldier, which he uses to save Emma, hiding nearby in a vehicle. The zombies bite everyone on the bus, and although the baby is unharmed, an infected man leaves a deep wound on Emma's arm before Jack and Patrick reach her. 9 years pass. The terrifying epidemic has wiped out almost all of humanity. The survivors settle in a town called Harmony, surrounded by icy wastelands. Though they are the only survivors in the area, Jack and Patrick have grown apart and no longer speak. Patrick often goes on hunting trips. One day, he shoots a horse, and when Lou watches from her window, she sadly tells her father that the neighbor has killed another animal. That evening, Patrick will have horse meat for dinner, while Jack and Lou haven't eaten meat in a long time, surviving on expired canned beans. At night, Patrick attempts to reach other survivors via radio, but receives no response. To amuse himself, he pretends to host a radio show. Later, he watches Jack putting Lou to bed through binoculars and quietly wishes her good night. The next morning, Jack prepares breakfast for Lou and reminds her of the house rules: brush her teeth and never go outside without permission. Lou agrees, secretly hiding a cookie in her clothes to feed Patrick's dog, who waits daily by the fence, hoping for a treat. The dog has even dug a small tunnel to reach her. After math class, Jack goes outside to practice shooting. Lou asks to learn too, as playing with dolls has become boring, but Jack forbids her from touching the gun. That evening, he gives her a box containing her mother's personal belongings. Lou, surprised, asks what the occasion is. Before Jack can answer, a speaker outside starts playing "Happy Birthday." Patrick had turned it on, which infuriates Jack. Jack had even prepared a birthday cake. But knowing that the neighbor wouldn't open the door due to their rivalry, he fed it to the dog. Later, Lou asks how people used to celebrate birthdays before the epidemic, and when she learns that many people would come to the party with gifts, she thinks her father is making it all up. Then she asks if zombies really exist, and Jack reassures her that they all long ago died from the cold. However, that night something terrifying happens. Lou wakes from a nightmare and hears strange noises outside. Looking out the window, she sees a humanoid creature rummaging near their fence. The neighbor's dog barks, scaring it away, and a frightened Lou hides under the bed, where Jack finds her the next morning. Seeing the creature makes her wonder why, if zombies are extinct, there are so many locks on their doors, and why her father never takes her when he goes to scavenge other homes. Jack, skeptical about monsters, promises to take her along next time. Later, Lou leaves her stuffed toy near the tunnel, naively thinking it will protect them from monsters. Patrick notices her and sees how happy the dog is to see her. Realizing she's been feeding it, he asks her to stop, worried about the animal's health. Suddenly, Jack appears in the yard, sees Patrick near Lou, and yells at him not to speak to her again. He even threatens to shoot the dog if it doesn't stop barking. Patrick leaves and later heads to an abandoned warehouse in town to replenish supplies. There, he recalls visiting the place with Emma, who asked him to be quiet, fearing zombies might hear them. Jealous, he wonders if she said the same to Jack. Patrick finds a toy for Lou on a shelf and takes it with him, but his attention is drawn to a freshly torn fox carcass. In the next instant, a zombie jumps from behind the shelves and chases him. He barely manages to shut a metal door between them and rushes back home. Unfortunately, distracted, Patrick fails to notice a log on the road and his snowmobile tips over. He regains consciousness just as a hungry zombie looms over him. The creature seems blind, following the sound of the snowmobile, and flees when a distant gunshot echoes. Jack is teaching Lou to shoot a revolver at that very moment. Later, Jack spots a rabbit on the road and wants to shoot it for dinner. But a gunshot echoes in the distance, and Patrick comes hurtling toward him on the snowmobile. He yells for Jack to run and fires into the air, but a zombie knocks him off and attacks fiercely. Lou pleads with her father to help Patrick, but Jack orders her back inside. Patrick fights for his life, yet Jack hesitates to pull the trigger. Patrick is bitten in the neck, and his dog, trying to save him, also suffers a fatal bite. Summoning his strength, Patrick grabs a rifle and drives the zombie away, while Jack returns home. Lou, in tears, blames him for everything that happened. Returning home, Patrick poured alcohol over his wound and tried to shoot himself to avoid turning into a zombie, but he lost consciousness, remembering how Emma had begged him to amputate her infected arm. When he came to, he heard someone trying to reach him over the radio. It turned out that an unknown man was not far from their town. Patrick immediately warned him that the zombies had returned after many years and that he had been bitten. The stranger, however, confidently reassured him that there was nothing to fear. Too much time had passed since the bite for infection to occur, so Patrick was safe. Patrick vowed to track down and kill the zombies, but the voice abruptly interrupted him, accusing his neighbor of failing to help him. The next day, Jack boarded up all the windows of the house, while Lou accused him of lying. Noticing that Patrick had not turned into a zombie, she also reminded her father that he didn't believe her when she said she had seen zombies. Lou suggested they needed fresh flowers for her mother. Noting that unlike Jack, Patrick would have brought them. Her words hit Jack hard, and he set out on an excursion, leaving the house. On the road near Patrick's place, he found a toy that Patrick had dropped during the zombie encounter and realized it was meant for Lou. Meanwhile, Patrick shouted at the radio voice, which provoked him to consider killing Jack and criticized him for letting Emma die. That evening, Jack returned home and, as a gesture of reconciliation, gave Lou the artificial flowers he had found. Lou was delighted, placing half of the flowers by her mother's photo. Quietly, she slipped outside with a revolver and crawled under the fence to leave the other half at the grave of the neighbor's dog. Seeing her through the window, Jack panicked and ran outside just as a zombie appeared behind her. The creature managed to strike Lou before Jack furiously pummeled it with his fists. The zombie managed to grab him briefly, but Patrick arrived in time and shot the monster. Later, Jack woke up at home with bandaged wounds and rushed to Patrick's yard to check on Lou. She was safe, but back in Patrick's yard, a zombie nearly attacked him again. This time it was missing its arms and chained. Patrick explained that these creatures hadn't died out but had evolved to survive in freezing temperatures. Their wounds healed quickly, and they were completely blind, hunting only by sound. The good news? None of them had been infected, meaning the viral strain was gone. Jack and Lou returned home, and later that day, Lou contacted Patrick over the radio to invite him to dinner. Overjoyed, Patrick cleaned himself up, shaved his long beard, and came to visit in a suit, bringing a bottle of wine for Jack. Jack returned the toy that Patrick had dropped, and Patrick handed it to Lou as soon as she appeared. During dinner, Lou chattered non-stop, asking the guest about his childhood and even suggesting that he help her father gather supplies. After she fell asleep, Jack apologized to Patrick for not helping him earlier. But soon, another argument flared up between them. Patrick suggested fixing the old van so they could leave the valley, warning that it was only a matter of time before more zombies arrived. Jack refused, convinced the place was safe. During their argument, it became clear that Lou was actually Patrick's daughter. Jack had taken her the day Emma died, when Patrick, drunk and unaware of what happened, had been unable to care for her. Overwhelmed by his emotions, Jack sent Patrick away, regretting even inviting him for dinner. That night, Lou awoke from a nightmare in which her father had died and she was left alone. Reflecting on this, Jack changed his mind and agreed to leave. The three set off in the car to the city to gather supplies. On the way, Patrick remembered how he had abandoned Emma in the car to drink out of jealousy toward Jack. And that's when she had died. Suddenly, they noticed a woman in the distance screaming frantically as Patrick approached. Once she regained consciousness in Patrick's home, the woman explained that she had spent most of her life isolated with her parents and brother. After a year, she joined another group of survivors, met a man, became pregnant, and he died. A few weeks ago, while traveling in a convoy of 3 cars, they encountered other survivors, but everyone except her perished in attacks by monsters until she heard Patrick's radio broadcast. Suddenly, she heard the howl of a chained zombie. Grabbing a gun, she shot it, muttering, "This is how they call each other." Then, the sounds of other monsters echoed nearby. The heroes quickly barricaded doors and windows. When the creatures broke in, Jack sent Lou to the basement to hide quietly. Inside, she encountered a zombie, lured it into a large metal container using her toy, and trapped it. Patrick, hearing the noise, broke into the basement but was immediately attacked by another zombie. Jack ran out of ammunition, but Lou cleverly turned on loud music. The noise disoriented the monsters sensitive to sound, giving the survivors a chance to eliminate the threats. Afterward, Lou came out of the basement, and Jack asked her to stay near the radio. While the others fought outside, she received a signal from a woman directing them to Spring Falls, where other survivors awaited. Unfortunately, the generator ran out of fuel, and the music stopped. With few bullets left, Patrick volunteered to lure the zombies away, so Jack and the others could escape. He kissed Lou goodbye, fired a flare, and drew the monster's attention, eventually being torn apart, but his sacrifice allowed Jack, Lou, and the woman to flee. In the final scene, the survivors pause along the road to Spring Falls, watching the sunrise, a fragile hope shining after the horrors they endured. And here, even more stories await you. Subscribe, because it's exciting with us. See you soon.